Can you make the post?
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, good day, happy day. Welcome to Siddha Vetha webinar series. Today we have a very deep topic. It's called the journey through space and consciousness. So here we have a renowned scientist, and I would call him a sage scientist, who worked with a great revolutionary scientist, a sage scientist who lived in the 19th century, and he lived with him, and then he formalized many physics concepts, bringing the ancient knowledge into modern and integrated with the modern science. So that is the. So I have seen him, the speaker, as a student when I was in long time back in Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya in a college when I was doing my masters. There was a conference called Mass and Gravity Conference. I wish Dr. Alagan can recall those. So I was organizing. I was a little kid organizing things there, for that conference, helping my then professor, Dr. Perumal. So that's where I happened to meet Dr. Alaga Ramanujam. Then after several years, I had an opportunity to invite him to Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken in New Jersey in 2002 or 3, I think, 2003, 4, that time. And we invited him, and then we had a very wonderful, deep, session in the physics department about this. And there was like so much debate and everything, about, this thing. And then there was a group that we formed there. People used to meditate in the physics room. There's a population that was interested. So that time, Dr. Alaga Ramanujam is a professor of NGM College. He was leading the the department, and is an expert relativity and quantum mechanics. And with a remarkable academic career, he authored more than 20 books, including Physics Redefined, Pioneering Research on Primordial Consciousness. At the University of Arizona, post-retirement, he derived all these concepts, So he presented those things that he learned from there into academia. And right now, I'm seeing him after some time. Then in between, I had an opportunity to, collaborate with him, and we did a lot of things in between with our the Uma was one of the person adopted daughter of Sri Veda Maharishi, and she was also part of this. And we had like deep conversations and deep insights about particles, etc. Very tiny details. I loved those days, and trying to put some paper together. So then we got disconnected after some time. Now we invited Dr. Alagar here. So I will let Dr. Alagar take over. And I'm a physicist too, so I wanted to be make it interesting and interactive. So I would have Dr. Alagar Ramanujam. So Dr. Vanakkam, and welcome to Siddha Vetha Multiversity webinar series. So we are very proud to have you today. So what made you come to an area where, why did you like leave your mainstream? Why did you like leave your mainstream? You could have been a dean or other level of things, a vice chancellor or something like that in a mainstream education. What made you come to this area where you're doing some social service and going throughout the world to take this message? Yes, I think you're fine. Yes.
வாழ்க வையகம் வாழ்க வளமுடன். வேதாத்ரி மகரிஷி சரணம். Friends, it's a great pleasure for me today to get associated with Siddha Vetha Multiversity, and I remain thankful to Mr. Shan, our Shanmugamurthy, for this opportunity. I remain thankful to him for also having introduced me with all nice words. It is really a pleasure to talk to the youth. For your information, that I am giving this lecture right now from Burbank, a suburb of Los Angeles. I am with one of my close friends, Mr. Madhukar, but an ardent devotee of Vedatri Maharishi for several decades, I must say. So coming to this program, the Youth Empowerment Program, I have my own definition for youth. For me, youth does not depend upon the number of years. If a person is of 75 years old, but if he has a capacity to question what he hears or what is given to him, if he has a capacity to question and also an ability to improve the concept, I will call him youth. And also, suppose a person at the age of 16, he is 16-year-old, but if he accepts whatever is given to him, whatever is told to him in the name of tradition, in the name of culture, if he simply accepts whatever given to him without a proper question, I will call him an aged person. Even though he is, by years, he may be of 16-year-old, I will call him an aged person. So, youth has nothing to do with the number of years that one has lived on this earth, but it is to do with a mind which is courageous enough to question whatever is given to him, whatever he gets from the society in the name of concepts. Usually, we get right from our birth, we get so many informations. From the college we study, from the society we live, from the friends, from parents, so many informations we receive. All these informations I can divide into two groups. Put all the informations, but examining them, I will divide them into two groups. One group of informations, one group is as to informations regarding the functional aspect of the universe. They will deal with the functional aspect of the universe. Rather, why the sun is shining, why the planets are going around, or what we should do, and what is the purpose of this life, all dealing with the universe. That is called, I will say, one group, the functional aspect of the universe. How a person should conduct himself in the universe when he is living. There is another group of informations I get from the literature, from persons, from traditions. Another group of information is that what is the source of this universe? How the universe came into existence. So, one group is worried about the functional aspect of the universe, and that group is not that much worried about the source. And another group is worried about the source of the object, how the universe came into existence, who created this. And that group is not very much interested how the universe behaves. They are not that much interested. So we have two groups of knowledge. If you are concerned with the functional aspect of the universe, you are a scientist. If one is concerned with the source of the universe, where from the universe came, questions like that, then you are a philosopher. So today we have two groups of people, scientists and philosophers. You can name yourself. So you have seen so many scientists in your book, and so many philosophers also you have seen. I tell you now one thing for the youth. When I say the youth, not only for the youngsters by age, I tell the whole public who are prepared to question, who have the mind to question the existing structure and improve ability also to improve the existing structure by a better logic. I tell you now, either in science or in philosophy, nobody has come so far to say the final word. None has said the final word so far, either in science or in philosophy. Therefore, whatever I hear from science or from philosophy, that is not the final word. That gives me a responsibility of adding my own view there. So every aspect, every concept, either in science or in philosophy, there is a room for improvement. I should not simply say that somebody has told that 5,000 years ago, somebody has told that 3,000 years ago, that is all. Then what is your job here in the universe? According to the circumstances, according to the situations they lived, they thought. And what you are doing, don't mortgage yourself to people you think that they have already told the final sentence. Nobody has said the final sentence, either in science or in philosophy, and that is my responsibility of adding something more. And when you recognize this, the youthfulness in you starts. Look here, when I say the youth, okay, all the recent discoveries came from only the youth, not from the elders. No startling discovery was made in science after the age of 40 or 50, especially in physics. When Newton came into contact with the gravitational force, and when he introduced the gravitational force to the world, he was not even 24. Okay, Newton was not even 24 when he introduced the concept of gravitational attraction. And when Einstein published 3 earth-shaking papers in 1905, he was almost 24 or 25. That's all. All these startling discoveries have come from the youth, the lower age, because they had the question, they had the power to question and improve the logic further. And that is a youth. I consider an international youth Newton. I consider Einstein as an international youth. He was questioning everybody all through. Okay. The elders, above 40 are nearing 50. They may be good physics teachers. Okay. They help to take physics horizontally. The elders take physics horizontally to larger and larger region. But it is the youth who take physics vertically up. To take physics vertically up, you need the youth. So here, how, I'll tell you how Newton or Einstein are relatively aged, but a lot of youth in him. Galileo. Okay. Galileo was relatively aged when he came out of his startling discoveries, startling concepts, but he was sufficiently relatively aged. But I will call Galileo the youth, even though when he told these things, he was a bit aged. I will call Galileo the real youth. All of you know, before Galileo, there was a philosopher, Ptolemy, and he was held in such a high esteem, Ptolemy. Okay, before Galileo, centuries before Galileo, Ptolemy was there. By a simple observation, looking above, by a simple observation, he came to a conclusion. What was the conclusion? We are standing on the earth. The sun is moving from east to west. Stars are moving. The moon is moving. We see that daily. So he concluded that earth is static and stars, sun and moon, they are going around the earth. That was the concept of Ptolemy. Believe it or not, this concept remained as a great truth for about 200 years. See? For about 200 years, this concept remained in this world as a part of the truth. It's called Great Ptolemy's geocentric theory. The earth is a center. It is static. And all heavenly bodies, they go around the earth. It is a theory of Ptolemy which remained 200 years, for 200 years. Then came an aged person, Galileo. Galileo questioned this. This is what Galileo questioned. And then he had the courage to say that it is not the earth, it is the sun which is static there. And all the planets, including the earth, they go around the planet, around the sun. So earth is not at rest. Earth is moving around the sun. Sun is static. He came out with a new theory, with a new concept, even at his advanced age. The age may be an advanced one, but I consider Galileo the real youth. He had the capacity to question the Ptolemy, which was held in high esteem by all others. When this news, this Galileo concept was spreading among the universities in the European country, among the universities, this concept was slowly spreading. You know, some professors in the university who believed completely Ptolemy, they were in the discussion telling that there is one fool called Galileo. He says that earth is moving. What a foolish fellow he is. That is a comment from the traditional university professors. See, professors aged, but they have lost the power to think. But the Galileo is not a university professor, but he used a logic, a better logic, that earth is moving. And you know, the great trouble he met with, he was punished for this. You know, he was punished for having told a better logic, for having told a better truth. He was punished. That is the way the world behaves. So, Galileo, in our view, is a great youth. And then we have the Kepler. Okay. Kepler also, till his advanced age, he was only a conformist. Whatever told, okay. Whatever told, okay. He was only a conformist. And he was doing a research. Kepler was doing a research. What research of what? He took all the observations of Tycho Brahe and he was drawing the graph for that. Tycho Brahe, by experimental observations, lot of information he had. All those things were handed over to Kepler. And Kepler used the data to draw the graph. When he used the data to draw the graph, how the Mars, the planet Mars moves, he was drawing the graph according to the observations of Tycho Brahe. The graph was an elliptical graph. See, Kepler, though later stage, he became a rebel. The beginning, Kepler went along with the culture, went along with the tradition. He was not able to think further. When he got the graph, the path of the Mars, according to the Tycho Brahe observation, as an ellipse, he was worried. He was much worried. Why? Because in those days, the days of Kepler, it was held, normally it was held that the heavenly bodies can move only in a circular path because that is a perfect path. They cannot move an imperfect path. All the heavenly bodies, they move only in a circular path. That was a belief system, part of the belief system. And Kepler came from the same belief. So when he got the graph elliptical, he was not happy. And he even came to question the veracity or the correctness of Tycho Brahe observations. Tycho Brahe somewhere has made an error in his observations because the graph is not a circular, it is ellipse. But then he repeated this graph for another planet also using Tycho Brahe's observations. Every planet, the graph was only elliptical. He was disturbed very much. He was not able to go beyond the traditional belief. And afterwards, lot of loss of time, years together, he could not do anything. And after that, he was bold enough to conclude that what is the sanctity about the heavenly bodies? They are also mud and water, that's all. What sanctity they can have? So the moment he came to the conclusion that heavenly bodies also are part of matter as the earth is. The earth also moves along ellipse. What is the sanctity about the earth? Murders are there, famine is there, atrocities are there on the earth. Then what is the sanctity for this earth? So no sanctity for any planet. They are after all mud and water. The moment he came to that, they could move in elliptical path. And Tycho Brahe was right. Then his calculations were done quickly, and he came to 3 laws concerning the planetary motion. They are called the famous Kepler's laws of planetary motion. His first law is that he broke from the tradition. Prior to Kepler, it was thought heavenly bodies, all the planets above, they could move only in the circular path. That was a belief system. He broke from the belief system and put the first law. His first law is every planet moves in an elliptical orbit. That was a great, a breakthrough from the tradition. Great breakthrough. He made it as a first law. Every planet moves in an elliptical path. With having the sun at the one of the foci. That was a great law, the first law of Kepler. The moment Kepler came, the 3 laws. That the first law. The second law is what? The radius vector of the planet sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. The second law. His third law is that for all the planets, the square of that period, t square, and the cube of the distance, r cube, they bear a constant ratio. Whatever the planet, r cube by t square is a constant for all the planets. So he gave 3 laws which we call Kepler's laws of planetary motion. See here, had Kepler gone along with the tradition that these planets, being heavenly, can move only in the circular path, he would not have given these 3 laws of planetary motion. His courage. And after 35 years, Kepler gave the laws, passed away. After 35 years, these 3 laws were introduced to Newton. Look here, after 35 years, because in those days, communications availability is very rare. From person to person, it has to move. So some friend of Newton introduced Kepler's laws to Newton after the death of Kepler. 35 years after his death. Then Newton, from the Kepler's laws, he got the formula, is Newton's law of gravity. But for Kepler's laws, Newton would not have had his law of gravity. See, when one youth broke traditional views and came to the right, it gave a platform for other scientists to grow. Newton used Kepler's laws of planetary motion and came to his law of gravity. So now today we have the law of gravity by Newton. So Newton calculated for every planet what is the velocity, what is the distance, all the calculations were there. Then after Newton, people thought, if the moon and the earth, and Newton gave what is the velocity of the moon going, what is the distance of the moon from the earth, why moon is going around the earth, all calculations Newton had. Then people thought, if a big solid body like moon, if the nature has put that as a satellite around the earth, can we put an artificial satellite like that? See, the thought goes there. So from Kepler, we have Newton. From Newton, somebody thinks, after all, the moon is a satellite going around. Can we produce a similar satellite by artificial method? Take one big ball, go to height, give it a velocity, it will be rotating the earth. And so you have, in 1957, the Sputnik. See, the 1957 Sputnik and Kepler, there is a connection. It is Kepler's courageous laws that every planet moves in an elliptical orbit. With that statement, he broke himself from the tradition. And that became the Newton's law. From Newton's law, the satellite has come, artificial satellite. And today, it is because of the artificial satellite. Okay? We are sitting in Delhi. We are able to see a match happening in America. See? How many artificial satellites are there to define, to tell when the cyclone will be there, where the rains will be there, all these improvements. We have today totally a different civilization. That is why people will say that a right question asked at the right time keeps the civilization moving. I will repeat,
Yes.
the right question asked at the right time keeps the civilization moving. Okay?
Yeah, can we take a 1 minute short break? So we can 1 minute we can just yeah, just 1 minute. We'll just share so that people can relax and be prepared. So
Okay,
let us take a 1 minute break,
Good.
and so I will just share a video. So it is share a video for the youth, and then we can continue. So
Okay.
this is for the youth, so that people don't miss at the last minute.
Okay.
So this is a youth opportunity. We wanted to have people like Dr. Alagar to the kind of things that we need for the modern science. You need to get into the heads of little teenagers. So that's the whole role. We invited Dr. Alagar here. So I'm just going to send like a program that we have. Just take a look at it. This is not for advertising the program. It is for giving a message about what we have for youth. So kindly take 1 minute to take a look at it. And I'm going to share this.
We know how it feels.
Confused about a professional career, how difficult it gets applying for college admissions, how much it hurts dealing with an identity crisis, how stressful it becomes when overloaded with high demands, the fear about a financial and professional future. We know these are hard days. Exploring your fullest potential demands a vision and an immense practical knowledge, guiding you through that vision. We know that no educational institution teaches you this, and we understand that achieving success is going to be tough if you lack essential life skills. How perfect would it be if you could learn a few day-to-day practices that empowers your vision and drives you to excellence? That is exactly what we do. We have meticulously crafted a workshop program aptly titled
Vaika
combines ancient wisdom and traditional knowledge with modern research to provide you with skills that can guide you through this tough phase of your life. These skills also build your emotional intelligence to face the challenges that lies ahead in the future. Now you may wonder, it's just another workshop. A quick walkthrough on who we are and you would be off your doubts.
I think it brought to light the importance of integrating both Eastern science and Western science and spreading the knowledge that Eastern science had. And I think it's important for the youth living in America right now to learn more about Eastern science and apply it to their daily life, because there's a lot of value that's good for the body mentally and physically. Also in this program was a good step in research and learning about the different opportunities that Eastern science has, and the professors in this program are very helpful in introducing you to learn how to publish papers and journals, and it's a good step to take for any youth in their career field to learn how to build their resume, how to manage their finances, and it's a very important lesson that many institutions don't teach that they're teaching here.
We are from the Veda Professional, a division of Veda Center for Transdisciplinary Studies, a non-profit charitable organization in New Jersey. We have a long history of collaboratively using wisdom and traditional knowledge systems to help humanity awaken to a healthy, happy, and prosperous life. The program consists of 4 modules. 1. Achieving maximum physical/mental health through the application of wisdom and traditional knowledge. 2. Enhancing emotional and social intelligence. 3. Developing a healthy relationship with money for success. 4. Preparing students for the college application process.
Our program will further cover the following. 1. Life management that includes conscious food choices, healthy habits, and behavior, to name a few. 2. Ancient/indigenous and modern science integration to preserve valuable traditional knowledge for modern world. 3. Teaches how to conduct research and publish in reputed scientific journals. 4. Building an innovative resume for higher education, job, or conscious entrepreneurship development.
We also customize this program to serve the specific needs for all the students.
And so bridging the gap between ancient and modern sciences was really interesting for me as someone who's really into modern science. About a year ago, I was very confused by this whole idea and didn't really accept that meditation would actually change a lot of things and that ancient science would actually do much. But this whole week has completely changed my mind, and I'm
Students in their high schools or in their first years of college, or any student who wants to upgrade his or her knowledge, can opt for this program. In the result, students embark on a lifelong journey of learning and inner transformation that allows them to more consciously relate to themselves, others, money, and prosperity. After all, we do care for you.
Thank you for the watching the video. Kindly, you can continue with your wonderful lecture.
Oh, for another 15 minutes.
Yes, please go ahead. If you have questions, we can extend a little, no problem. So we can extend 10, 15 minutes.
Friends, so far I have introduced to you the youth in Galileo, followed by Newton, and how because of Newton's work, the satellites, artificial satellites, how they are making an inroad into our civilization. Now, I'm going to introduce to you a Siddha. So far, I was talking to you the changes on the Western world. Now, I will introduce to you a Siddha from the Eastern world who remained a youth all along his age. I find in him a peculiar youth throughout his age. That youthfulness was running through. Rather, he was questioning everything, not only questioning, giving also a better answer. Questions alone will be of no use. Once you question, you must give also the alternative. Then the real benefit will come to the society. I'm going to introduce to you one such Siddha. The name of the multiversity is Siddha Vetha Multiversity. As I told you already, there is a group which was really concerned about the source of the universe, where from the universe came, how did it come into existence. That we call that philosophy. So now I will introduce to you a Siddha who questioned not only the terms in philosophy, but also terms in science. You know, when you come to science, you have introduced, or we know many terms in science, say mass, velocity, momentum, gravity, electromagnetism, quantum mechanics, okay, field theory. All these terms are there in science. Similarly, you come to the philosophy. Philosophy also has some terms like that. God, physical body, mind, soul, Atma, karma theory, life after death, like that it goes. So in philosophy also there are some terms, right? Now, when coming to the philosophy, I am asking the audience here, when you hear the word God from anywhere, from your parents or from the society, from the book, did you question what is God? Okay. We simply go wherever our parents take us, that's all. Have you ever worried about what is Atma? Okay. Have you ever worried about what is mind? But daily we say, I have a mind. My mind takes a decision. My mind is not happy. But where is your mind? So such loose terms are there in philosophy. Very, very loose terms, not well defined. Similarly, there are terms in science also. Now, the Siddha, by name Vedatri Maharishi, the Siddha, okay, he has questioned both in philosophy and science the terms we are using. When you come to Vedanta, okay, when you come to Vedanta, the source of the universe, they will say Brahman. And Brahman is boundaryless. Okay. This another word, Brahman, they use. But where is the Brahman? For this, our Siddha, Vedatri Maharishi, the Siddha, he boldly, with all courage, Brahman is nothing but the space before you. This identification is a great step forward. They simply introduced the word Brahman, but Vedatri Maharishi identified that Brahman as the space. The space before you, the space inside you, the space, boundless space. Okay, this space is the source of the universe. Now, the moment he says that, he has defined the philosophy. Because philosophy was simply using the word, that's all. It did not identify so far. But that identification, who is the source? Where is the source? Vedatri Maharishi identified that as this space. The moment he identified that as a space, he has made a revolutionary change in science also. How? The present day scientist, the modern science, whether it is physics or chemistry or biology, the modern science comes down and says the bottom line is fundamental particle. Bottom line. So the fundamental particles combined together to form the universe. It is a concept in the current science. Suppose you ask a scientist where from the fundamental particles came, they will say, we don't worry about that. We start the science from the fundamental particle. So, below the fundamental particle, the present day science does not go. So, there is a gap, there is an area where the scientists have no knowledge. There is an area. Now, combining philosophy and also science, Vedatri Maharishi, the Siddha says, space is the base, and from the space is the source of the fundamental particles. So we are telling now, following Vedatri Maharishi, we are telling now the scientist, instead of beginning the science from the particle, you begin the science from the space. Then your science will be a complete science. That is what, following Vedatri Maharishi, now we are telling to the Western world. Begin your science from the source, that is a space. So our slogan is now, begin from the beginning, not halfway through. So this is the great revolutionary change now we are introducing into the current science. Recently, about 4 years ago, we brought out a book in physics. The title of the book is Physics Redefined. Redefine your physics. Don't start, it is not enough if you start the physics from the fundamental particle. You have to start the physics from the space, which is the source of the fundamental particle. That is what we are trying now. We are telling the scientist, and now when you go to the fundamental particle, the source of that, the space, now for the term gravity also gets a new look. We have an entirely new approach to the concept of gravity. What is that entirely new approach given by Vedatri Maharishi? He considers that if we have a particle A and a particle B, A is not giving a force on B to attract that, and B is not giving a force on A to attract that. Okay? It is not. But what happens? The Siddha Vetha Maharshi says, A is there, B is there, they don't do anything. But the space surrounding that compresses them to come nearer and nearer. So the so-called gravity coming nearer to each other is not the property of the particle, it's not the property of the matter, it is a property of the space. The revolutionary change now, which we are introducing in the science. Newton remains modified. See, because, why? Because Vedatri Maharshi had the courage to identify Brahman as space. This identification has not come earlier. They simply said Brahman, that's all. But he has identified that as a space. That was his courage. And that was the youth in him. Okay? All through his age, he was discussing and changing the entire concept. So now, Newton remains modified. Because Newton said, A is of the two particles A and B, A gives a force on B, and B gives a force on A. That is why they are coming together. This concept has been modified. According to Vedatri Maharshi, A and B are simply keeping quiet. The space surrounding that, it compresses. The space compresses them to come together. So we have altogether a new concept of gravity. Friends, Newton's law of gravity was already modified in 1905. Already modified. Once Einstein brought the concept that the mass of the particle increases with the velocity in his special theory of relativity. The mass of a particle increases with its velocity. Newton's concept of mass got modified. And when Max Planck came, Max Planck had to explain a particular curve. To explain that particular curve, Max Planck had to introduce that energy is emitted by an atom not continuously, but in packets, quantum. It is not emitted continuously. The atom is not emitting energy continuously, but in packets. One packet came out, then a small gap. Another packet comes out. So the quanta of energy. Only when he introduced this quantum principle, he was able to explain a particular graph observed in nature. But Max Planck was not happy about this. Even though he explained the nature of the graph by introducing the quantum nature, he loved Newton so much that he thought he is going against Newton. Because Newton said the emission is continuous. But Max Planck says the emission is not continuous, it is in quanta of packets. But then Max Planck consoled himself by saying that I love Newton, but much more than that, I love science. So science has to grow. That was a famous statement of Max Planck. When he said the energy is emitted by the atom in packets, he knew that he is going against Newton. But to explain the graph, he had to go, and that is a youth. The power to question whoever it is. So, whether philosophy or science, our loyalty towards, if I am a philosopher, my loyalty should be only to the philosophy, not to the philosopher. Philosophy has to increase, has to improve. That is what my loyalty should be. So in science also, my loyalty should be to the science, not to the scientist. Scientist with a limited knowledge then available, he would have made a statement. But that's not the final. But my loyalty to the science, what is the reality? Therefore, with Max Planck, Newton's concept was modified. With Einstein, Newton's concept was modified. Now, there is a situation demanding the modification of Newton again. The situation is today, in this current situation, what is the situation demanding another modification is this. When the astronomers in astrophysics, when they study the motion of stars in a galaxy, there is a galaxy center, the stars are moving around the center of that galaxy. When they study the motion of stars around the galaxy, they come to the conclusion that Newton's laws are not applicable there. So, Newton's laws are applicable only in a solar system, not in a galactic system. Now, how to save the situation? How to save the situation? They have clearly come out that Newton's laws are not applicable for the stars moving in a galaxy. So, right now, as of today, there are two groups of scientists as of today. Yes, how to save the situation? One group says, maybe in the galaxy, there is a hidden mass which we have not noticed. If we take the hidden mass into account, then everything will be okay. By introducing a hidden mass, which they call dark matter. But another group says, don't introduce dark matter, not necessary. Don't introduce that. What to do? Modify Newton's law. Again, modify Newton's law so that the new law helps this situation. So, friends, by the concept of Vedatri Maharishi, that the space compresses them to go together, that is a Vedatrian concept of gravity. By using that, now we have arrived at a different formula, improving Newton. Now in our formula, which we have derived, there is a term representing Newton, plus there is an additional term. This additional term is the new term derived from Vedatri's concept. Therefore, now we have a new law of gravity, which we call Vedatrian law of gravity. And our hope is that this Vedatrian law of gravity will explain the motion of stars in a galaxy in the right way. So, Siddhas also modify the science. I told you only one instance where our Siddha, Vedatri Maharishi, has modified the science in such a way that we can get a new formula for the law of gravity. And we have named this law of gravity Vedatrian law of gravity. So, thank you very much for this
Thank you.
wonderful opportunity given to us. And I hope I would request the audience, whenever you hear any concept from anybody, question the concept. If your logic accepts that, have it. If your logic does not accept that, improve that logic. That should be the way where the human beings must be growing. So, Maharishi, in one sentence I will say, Maharishi introducing new concepts in science and philosophy. Maharishi tries to make the science philosophical. At the same time, he makes the philosophy scientific. In future, when we have a scientific philosophy and a philosophical science, all our troubles will vanish and the whole world will enter a new era of peace. Blessed. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Blessed,
Thank you.
blessed,
Yeah,
blessed.
wonderful lecture. We always use. We see you are the youth from that time. I see, as a speaker, a great speaker, leader, and it was a very motivating situation when you were with Maharishi and speaking on the stage. I see the same level of energy you have. You have no change in the, you're a real youth only. So you're still maintaining your youth. So we like that. And indeed, so you were as before we opening the questions for others. I would like to share things that I have been got from Vedatri Maharishi. So when I got married and got blessings from Maharishi, he said, I'm going to do physics here. So he gave blessings with Dr. Satyamurthy and there. So he was like saying, you should take this. Physics is you're a wonderful field. You should take this to the world. So when I came here, I registered the organization, everything. But then what really made what Siddha Vetha today is, what I actually did was to see whether these axioms, what Maharishi used, could be applied in other fields as well. And I started to explore on that. And we went to alchemy, anatomy, everything. So now we have the whole Siddha Vetha concept is completely based on ancient sage scientists from different sage scientists. We took the concept and categorized into different areas of science. And we are teaching that. And that is the course. That's why, I was very much fascinated by the ancient physics. And with this physics concept, we build these programs. And these programs now we are giving to youth. But here are some of the programs. So here, when we say advanced nutrition theory, it's completely ancient nutrition theory. Net negative footprint, climate healing fundamentals, femto. This is like Varma, ancient Varma Kalai. We call it femto neurobiomagnetic therapy and psychoneuroimmunology. It Varma and Kayakalpa kind of therapies here. Holistic photomedicine, holistic sustainable agriculture, holistic integrative medicine, and lifestyle and energy management, conscious co-realization community, sustainable finance management, sustainable business management, transdisciplinary science and technology. It's an introduction to all areas of ancient science and technology, indigenous life science, holistic lifestyle management, even holistic computer science applications, how to use them, and longevity, anti-aging. See, these are some of the courses. So we have a group of faculty who are experts and who are like you, kind of person, people who have that kind of a wisdom, and they wanted to give something to the world from a conscious perspective. So you're bringing conscious space science into reality, and that's what we are exactly doing. And we wanted to build this science as an indigenous science and technology, which I understood long time back when I went to an AG, American Geophysical Union, with Dr. Vijay Gupta. So I know I have spoken to Mr. Madhukar Bhatt and Bridge Sharma, all those people when I came there initially to see, establish this thing. So that's why I got associated with this. So that time there were scientists who came from other traditions, like the Mayan tradition, the Native Americans. They presented their work and their own cultural, and it was funded. Some of them were funded by the government, NASA, saying that, see, today we go to a museum. What do you see? All Western concepts of the universe. This is the universe, Smithsonian lab, and all these things. All the books are like that. Similarly, they had their own perspective, like how we have our own perspective. Every tradition had a science and technology, and they wanted to put their science there, and they got funded for 5 museums, and they put their perspective of the universe. Similarly, this is an indigenous science and technology, and this itself is an indigenous concept, and you cannot relate everything to modern science. Of course, there are areas which you have connected very well, but not necessarily every area will be connected to modern science. It is the other way. The modern scientists should be learning this, our science. That is the whole thing. And that is the thing that is missing today. And so we are making that possible by bringing this as an indigenous science and technology development in all areas of life, not leaving one area, even for food or anything. So we are training the kids, young students taking 13 to 19 years, and we are training them over the summer. We give them the 18 hours of lecture in 2 weeks with all the different subjects, and then we train them for 3 years for publishing. And for different institutes, we send them up according to what their interest is, and we make them publish. And we arrange conference, international conference. They go and present, and we have journals, ancient science, Ayurvedic, Siddha journals we have in our institute, and also we have other collaborators and other journals. We publish papers, so we have a number of papers published in this. So I just wanted to tell you this. This is all the blessings of Sri Vedatri Maharishi. And you were those days, you were a great inspiration for us in those days, when we are young, to give that kind of, like there is some leaders should be there to promote this kind of science, to bring it forward. Because you are a scientist, you were able to understand Vedatri Maharishi. If you were not there, people wouldn't have understood science. They would have taken the spiritual aspect only. So you brought the scientific aspect, and that is the great thing that you have done. And we really admire for what you have done. And now I will open for questions, please. Yes, please. You can unmute. And
So I have a little question. This, whatever you have said, it is amazing. You're combining the spiritual with the physical material. So I've always wondered, you have these electrons, and these electrons are in the atom, and they keep going on all the time. They keep moving. So where is all the energy coming from?
Yeah.
It's eternal, right? It keeps going on and on and on and on.
Yes. Now, as I have already told, space is the source of everything. So the electron is nothing but is deriving the energy from the source, that is space. So the space is not nothingness, is of energy and consciousness. Space has two qualities. It has energy, it is a sea of energy and consciousness. From that, the electrons are born. So they are moving, they are rotating, they get the energy from the space.
So that is why all the fundamental particles, all the photons, they keep moving, they keep vibrating.
Yeah.
It's static.
Yeah. True.
Yes. Yes, Dasta, your question?
Hello. Thank you for today's talk. It was very interesting, and I had there was one thing that you said that caught my attention. You said for like every you have to have the right question at the right time, and also you mentioned the youth, they lack the continuum of the knowledge and expansion. But my question is, you don't think older people can be just as innovative and as the youth as?
Hello?
Did you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. What is the
she's
question?
asking. Yeah.
What is the question?
So she's asking whether. Go ahead.
So I was just asking, if if because you mentioned like how the young youth are the ones that are expanding the knowledge, not even the knowledge, I don't know what to call it, but the consciousness. And but you don't think the older people can't be the capability to be innovative, because I mean the energy might the body might weaken, but the mind is still sharp, right?
No, what is the question now?
No.
So-
She's asking. I'll tell you. Just I want to interpret whether you said only youth can be, like young age people only can do the innovative things. Why not old people?
No, that is what I say.
Yes.
You think
Yes.
whatever is given to you, whether this age or any age, think about your logic. If your logic says okay, you accept whoever it is. Otherwise, you try to improve the logic, whoever it is. So that quality is really the youth, not simply accepting.
but
If not simply accepting, you must improve the logic. Otherwise, you accept that.
you don't think older people can have the same mentality as the youth?
See, that's what I mean. If
Oh.
you can improve the older people, you go up. Otherwise, accept them.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
all.
I got it. I think I misunderstood before. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, I think this Vedatri Maharishi, when he was above 90, when he was very old, he gave a new concept called formative dust.
Exactly.
Discussed.
You are
So
right.
he did not get the concept before, right? And at
Yes.
last minute, he gets. We thought his old is useless. He may be writing little bit, a few more books. That's all. But he was so innovative to bring a very important concept, formative dust. That Dr. Alagan knows how important that formative dust is, right, in physics. And that is like all the string theory and all these things come from that formative dust only. So this is an example of how older people can be young. So that's what the whole point is telling. Yes.
Okay, good.
Oh, yes, that's what you said initially, I think.
Yes, exactly. So any other questions? Mr. Theo? Anybody can.
No, I was very impressed. I'm still studying everything that he says. And I like what I've learned, that functional aspect of the universe are scientists and source of the universe are philosophers. And that was an example to distinguish between the both of them. So I did learn.
Yeah, your videos. You turn on your videos. Theo, say a happy day. So you want your happy day thing.
Yes.
There we go.
Happy day, everyone.
Happy day. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, Sharon said happy day.
Happy day, Sharon. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
What
so
is the
just
question?
repeat what you told. Theo, it was not very clear, your audio. Mr. Theo, you're muted.
The question, please.
Okay, so let's take any other questions. You can take, so Theo will come join. Kiran, Avitaji, you have questions? Anybody? Chandran, and Sridevi.
Yes, sir, actually, that was a good, it was a good thing. So what I was listening, but no questions actually for me. Just I was listening to sir. So
Thank you.
What he is saying, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I was listening completely.
Okay. Thank you.
So here everybody is an expert.
I have
Yes, go ahead.
Heard the concept of ether, and they say ether is different from space, and ether has infinite energy. This is how the scientists say this now. So is that what within the space is the consciousness of the Brahman?
No, suppose you have the water. The water has its own taste. Is it inside the water? Differently, the taste. No. The water has a taste, that's all. But you can't say the taste is different from water, it is inside. Taste is a quality of the water. Similarly, consciousness is a quality attribute of the space. It is not that space is inside the space, consciousness is there, not like that. The quality of the space is consciousness and energy.
So you're talking about, I think you're talking about ethereal particles. You're talking about the ether, and ether we are talking, that's what we talk about, formative dust. The ether, ethereal particles. And that's what the space vibration we call Nadaraja or anything, you know. So that's what he is saying, you know. So that is mentioned in our ancient literature. What Vedatri Maharishi did was, he simplified, because this was a disconnection between the sages and the normal people. Normal people went to Bhakti Marga. So
Yes.
they did not understand the Jnana Marga. So Vedatri Maharishi simplified that. And the two wonderful things that he did is bridging the gap between the ancient knowledge and modern. He connected to the modern knowledge, how atoms, particles, everything come.
Yes,
so that is beauty. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
Mr.
right.
Theo?
Yeah, what about the Akasha? The Akasha, which they say the fifth element, and everything comes out of the Akasha, and nothing can come. Nothing can come out or leave the Akasha.
Okay, Akash means Akash particle. That is what science says, fundamental particle. In philosophy, it is called Akash particle.
Okay.
In science, we call it fundamental particle. That's all.
Okay.
How the combination of the Akash particles, the rest of the elements.
Now, let me ask another question. When I was in search of who I think the creator of the universe is, I came up with 3 questions. And the first question was, is it true that when a woman egg and a man's sperm comes together, a child could be born, and the intelligence within that egg and sperm is invisible to the human naked eye? And I said, that answer is true. I said, the largest tree in a forest came from a little seed. And intelligence within the seed creating that tree is invisible to the human naked eye. True. Is it true that the largest mammal in the ocean comes from a little cell, and intelligence within the cell is also invisible to the human naked eye? And I said, true. Then I turned to myself and I said, if all those 3 questions are true, then there's a great possibility then that the creator of the universe is a small intelligent cell. Because nothing large, everything large came from something small like a cell. So the creator has to be the most intelligent cell. And what we call God that looks like man cannot be, because everything is a combination of cells. And also, when I learned that in a human ejaculation, there are between 2 to 3 million sperm, and when we have to imagine that within one ejaculation, how small a sperm has to be and still have all the knowledge and intelligence to create a human being once it penetrates that egg, then we're realizing that the creator could be a combination of cells that is creating this entire universe and controlling the universe because of its intelligence.
Yes.
What's your...
Yeah, you are partly right.
True.
That is what we say. Space has the intelligence, that is consciousness out of the space. It has the intelligence as to how to produce this universe. The space. Out of the space comes the energy and the intelligence. So every system now we see here has energy and also a part of consciousness is there. The intelligence is there. So both they stem from the space, the energy and the intelligence. You are right.
Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. So,
It's so
any other
nice what you
questions?
said, Theo. I'm so sorry. I like what Theo said. I think I identify with that. As I feel like we came from just a tiny, small dot hole, just from experience. Thank you.
Yes. tiny and big are the same.
Yes, you're welcome.
Tiny is tiniest and big is all the intelligence that we have. And I think this is very important lecture today. Any other one more question we can take
Yeah,
maybe?
and one more thing I want to say. I just updated my new book called Life is a Game of Chance. And by updating this new book, I came to the conclusion that I tell everyone that there's nothing artificial about artificial intelligence, and that human is calling what it discovered the raw intelligence and artificial intelligence, because if they claim that they have tapped in to a portion of the intelligence of the universe, then every religious institution will come against them and condemn them, accusing them of playing God. So instead of that, admitting the truth that they have discovered some form of consciousness within the universe, mathematical formula, they have to play it down, not to anger with religious fanatics, religious people, but I really believe that there is something really powerful about the discovery of, which I call autonomous intelligence, because I think whatever is artificial intelligence is autonomous intelligence. And one day the truth will come out that we are tapping to some form of raw intelligence in the universe.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I see the point where you replace artificial by autonomous. Good point, nice point. Instead of saying artificial, you're saying autonomous intelligence. Okay, right.
Wonderful. So I just share, some things for parents who wanted to learn, make their kids, learn our ancient science, introduce your kids. It's very difficult today to introduce in this age. It's very difficult to take the kids to, to Bhakti Marga. It's difficult. They are not aligned to Bhakti Marga. As well as you cannot talk about anything in ancient unless you know some science. And this science will very much helpful. So we created this program, and you take a look at this website. It's called the Youth Career Accelerator Program, and you can go to our, the home page, and you can see this. I've sent a link. You can go and register your students so we can train, and we are using some great intelligence mind, Dr. Alagar. And all, I told Dr. Alagar we can have a student, we'll give you a student or a couple of students who can take this into research, and we can convert this into many papers as possible, bringing awareness to other kids about our ancient physics concept, so that way we can take into like real time research, like how we did in do for other things. So today there are so many tools that last 20 years back I had a lot of struggle in bringing this knowledge to people. Today we have all the tools that are necessary. An individual can do amazing work with competition and everything. You can create the entire thing and publish a paper. So that's the capability we have with AI. And so we should make use of this technique. And we have students, we have hired people who can do this for us. We can create the whole entire Vedatri concepts, and bridging the gap between, the modern and ancient can be done with the current tool. And we have the capability, we have the connections with other institutes also. That's why we call it multiversity. So students can come to our, enter through our program. They can enter into different colleges. For example, they can go to New Jersey Rutgers campus. They can stay there for 3 months, do the work. They can go to Maharishi International University. They can go there and work. They can go to, Medical University of South Carolina, for example, right? So these are example, and we have more than 70 MOUs with different international universities. So students can go there physically and do things that are relevant to their work. So please, enroll your students for this and get this great opportunity of ancient science and technology. And so that what parents cannot do, the great teachers like Dr. Alagar and all can do. So there are many many experts in this area, and we have even Dr. Gupta. Dr. Gupta will be teaching a course on statistics, how to do research in ancient science, and Mr. Theo will be talking about how to build a conscious entrepreneur, how to become good human beings, how to publish, etc. So there are a lot of things we do. In Dr. Abhita will be talking about the emotional intelligence aspect of life, how to build emotional intelligence. So these are the kind of courses that are lacking in our culture. So in this current thing, we need all this so that we can empower our children and take that forward. So with this note, I want to thank you all. Dr. Selva, you wanted to say something? Selva from Canada.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Dr. Sean. Your quest to bridge the gap between ancient science and modern science. Thank you for bringing Professor Alagar in explaining, connecting the modern science along with the ancient science. I think that is the quest of our Siddha Vetha, and we are in the right direction to give this knowledge to the younger generation through YCA program or Youth Career Accelerator programs. I wish you the best, and I want to thank Professor Alagar for giving an excellent presentation, bridging the gap between modern science and ancient science. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Aya. Thank you, Aya.
Thank you. Thank you, Aya. Thank you for the
okay, wonderful.
Because we will have more lectures and we'll be continuously connected.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.